Volcanoes have had a huge impact on the lives of people living near the mouth of the volcano. But have you ever wondered what a volcano is and what incite it is? Firstly, do you know where all these volcanoes are? There are about 1,350 potentially active volcanoes in the world, according to the United States Geological Survey, USGS. But not all the active volcanoes in the world have erupted recently. The USGS estimates that around 500 of Earth's active volcanoes have erupted in historic times. They are distributed in many different countries, and Indonesia has the world's most recently active volcanoes at 55. Japan and the United States follow behind with a count of 40 and 39. Indonesia has also occurred the largest modern eruption known, that of Mount Tambora, which exploded in Indonesia in 1815 and caused such drastic climate changes that it led to the year without a summer on Earth in 1815-1816, and then many new inventions were born from here. But first, let's quickly learn about volcanoes with My Wonder channel and discover interesting things about today's video topic. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button to continue watching other interesting videos of My Wonder channel in the near future. Indonesia, a Southeast Asian archipelago of 270 million people, sits along the Ring of Fire and has more than 120 active volcanoes, more than anywhere else in the world. Some 75% of the world's active volcanoes are positioned around the Ring of Fire, a 25,000-mile-long, 40,000-kilometer, horseshoe-shaped zone that stretches from the southern tip of South America across the west coast of North America, through the Bering Sea to Japan, and on to New Zealand. It can be said that Indonesia is a country having the most active volcanoes in the world and is the windows of volcanic world. This means Indonesia has a tremendous opportunity to face eruption disaster in next future. This region is where the edges of the Pacific and Nazca plates butt up against an array of other tectonic plates. Importantly, however, the volcanoes of the ring aren't geologically connected. In other words, a volcanic eruption in Indonesia is not related to one in Alaska, and it could not stir the infamous Yellowstone supervolcano. Well, to know more about volcanic eruptions in the world, you must first understand what a volcano is. What is a volcano? A volcano is a feature in Earth's crust where molten rock is squeezed out onto Earth's surface. This molten rock is called magma when it is beneath the surface, and lava when it erupts or flows out from a volcano. Along with lava, volcanoes also release gases, ash, and solid rock. The mechanism of volcano formation is that Earth gets hotter the deeper you go, causing the rocks to expand and release out. So why are there volcanoes, and why do they erupt? Volcanoes are just a natural way that the Earth and other planets have of cooling off and releasing internal heat and pressure. Volcanoes erupt because of density and pressure. As most of the mountains have closed peaks, the pressure keeps on building inside of them. The lower density of the magma relative to the surrounding rocks causes it to rise, like air bubbles in syrup. It will rise to the surface, or to a depth that is determined by the density of the magma and the weight of the rocks above it. As the magma rises, bubbles start to form from the gas dissolved in the magma. The gas bubbles exert tremendous pressure. This pressure helps to bring the magma to the surface and forces it in the air, sometimes to great heights. The pressure keeps on building until it becomes so much that the mountain peak bursts open. This then leads to the venting of the magma, which is also known as lava, and creates an ash cloud above the mountaintop. It's sort of like the bubbles of gas in a bottle of soda. Before you open the soda, you don't see many bubbles because the pressure in the bottle keeps the gas dissolved in the soda. When you open the bottle, the pressure is released and the gas bubbles leave the soda. If you shake up the bottle first, the soda gets pushed out by the bubbles of gas as they rush out. You might try this, but do it outside. Many scientists are worried that soil erosion, rising sea levels, or melting ice will affect the activity of volcanoes. Magma and lava are two different things. Inside an active volcano is a chamber in which molten rock, called magma, collects. Pressure builds up inside the magma chamber, causing the magma to move through channels in the rock and escape onto the planet's surface. Once it flows onto the surface, the magma is known as lava. Put simply, magma is the name given to hot liquid rock inside a volcano. Once it leaves the volcano, it's known as lava. Lava from a volcano can reach 1,250 degrees Celsius. These geographical wonders come in various shapes and sizes. Volcanoes are classified as active, dormant, or extinct. Active volcanoes have a recent history of eruptions. They are likely to erupt again. Dormant volcanoes have not erupted for a very long time, but may erupt at a future time. And extinct volcanoes are not expected to erupt in the future. Besides, volcanoes also come in many different shapes. The most well-known types of volcanoes are cinder cones, which are both the most common type of volcano and also the smallest composite volcanoes, stratovolcanoes, which are cone-shaped with steep slopes, and shield volcanoes, which are wide with gentle slopes. The mechanism of volcanic activity. Volcanoes are not formed naturally. They all have their own activity mechanism. When magma erupts at the surface as lava, it can form different types of volcano. The three main types of eruptions are magmatic, phreatic, or phreatomagmatic. This is a natural phenomenon that occurs in many countries around the world. When they erupt, if there is no warning and handling in advance, it can easily lead to huge disasters due to the lava left behind. Volcanoes don't just occur on land. Volcanoes are found on both land and the ocean floor, and even under ice caps too. When volcanoes erupt on the ocean floor, they often create underwater mountains and mountain ranges as the released lava cools and hardens. Volcanoes on the ocean floor become islands when the mountains become so large they rise above the surface of the ocean. The Volcanic Explosivity Index, VEI, was developed by Christopher Newhall, an American volcanologist, along with Stephen Self in 1982. It measures the explosiveness of volcanic eruptions. Based on the index level, all eruption events have a standard measurement index from 0 to 9. The vast majority of volcanic eruptions are of VEIs between 0 and 2, which usually occur daily or weekly. Eruptions with a VEI 3 are classified as strong, and the eruption can send a column of gas and ash more than 15 kilometers into the air. This event occurs annually. While VEI 7 eruptions, which occur 1 to 2 times per 1,000 years. What is the largest eruption in history? Now, a new report in the Journal of Volcanology and Geothermal Research says that the largest volcanic explosion in recorded history actually took place 7,300 years ago, when the Kikai-Akahoya eruption ejected more than 80 cubic miles, 332 cubic kilometers, of volcanic rock and ash off the southwestern coast of Japan. But for a long time, that honor belonged to another Indonesian volcano, Mount Tambora, which erupted on April 10, 1815, in what is believed to be the largest eruption in recorded history. It exploded so loudly that it was heard on Sumatra Island, more than 1,200 miles, 1,930 kilometers away. It ranked 7, or supergiant, on the VEI, the second highest rating on the index. The force of the eruption ejected 150 cubic kilometers, 35 cubic miles, of ash, pumice, and other rocks, as well as an estimated 60 megatons, 120 million tons, of sulfur 40 kilometers, 25 miles, into the atmosphere. Sulfur dioxide converts into a type of fine sulfuric acid aerosol that envelops much of the Earth within a few weeks. The aerosol layer reflects sunlight back into space, creating a cooling effect globally. The results of this catastrophic eruption led to a significant reduction in sunlight reaching the Earth's surface and an average global temperature decrease of up to 3 degrees Celsius. The impact was so severe that, on the other side of the world, Europe began to experience snowfall in the summer. The following year was one of the coldest on record. The aftermath of the eruption was extremely catastrophic. The number of deaths due to the eruption is estimated to be over 11,000 people from direct exposure to the pyroclastic flows. However, the eruption also caused a prolonged food shortage over the following decade, due to the destruction of crops, along with various diseases, especially diarrhea from consuming contaminated water. The famine was so severe that people in Sumbawa were forced to eat dried leaves and toxic wild tubers. Many had to sell their children in exchange for rice. Approximately 48,000 people in Sumbawa and 44,000 in Lombok died. Tens of thousands of people migrated to Java, Bali, and South Sulawesi to escape the famine. The total death toll eventually reached 100,000, according to NOAA. This volcano, which is still active, is one of the highest peaks in the Indonesian archipelago. Additionally, the effects of the eruption were not limited to Indonesia. The unseasonably cold weather caused the death of plants, rice, and animals in the northern regions such as China and Tibet. Flooding devastated many remaining crops. In Taiwan, which has a tropical climate, snowfall occurred in several cities. In Europe, low temperatures and heavy rains led to crop failures across the continent, resulting in severe famine in Ireland and Wales. Measles outbreaks ravaged many parts of Europe, including Ireland, Italy, Switzerland, and Scotland, exacerbated by the malnutrition caused by the year without a summer. Temperatures dropped dramatically in North America, particularly in the northeastern United States and Canada. In spring and summer, a prolonged dry fog reduced sunlight visibility to the extent that sunspots could be seen with the naked eye. Frost and snowfall occurred in the higher regions of New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, and northern New York in the middle of summer. The cold weather destroyed much of the crops in North America, leading to rising prices. In Canada, Quebec ran out of bread and milk. This natural phenomenon is referred to by historians as the year without a summer whenever they mention it. Accordingly, the volcanic ash covered a vast area of land, destroying crops, killing livestock, and contaminating water sources. Moreover, the thick layer of ash blocked the sun, causing summer to disappear. Great sunspots could be seen that year with the naked eye, and they were blamed. No one imagined that the ashes expelled by the Mount Tambora had come so far and were giving those amazing sunsets to heaven. Nobody, until William J. Humphreys, an American climatologist, in 1920. He established the relation between both phenomena and explained that the veil of dust that formed the suspended particles had reflected the light of the sun. He suggested that the eruption had ejected ash into the stratosphere. The wind then spread the ash globally. This dust cloud created a layer that reflected heat from the sun. Evidence of this was the occurrence of reddish-brown snow in Hungary and Italy, believed to be caused by volcanic ash mixing with the atmosphere. Although it left severe consequences, the eruption of Mount Tambora also contributed to significant impacts in science and art. According to scientists, the dust cloud from Mount Tambora is believed to have led to the creation of many unusual sunset paintings by Joseph Millord William Turner, 1775 to 1851, a famous English painter. In Europe, the scarcity of resources profoundly affected daily life, making it difficult for many people to feed animals used for traditional transportation, such as horses and mules. The price of oats, which was used as feed for horses, skyrocketed, prompting the young German inventor Karl Dreiss to find the motivation to create a new form of transportation that did not require horsepower, the Dreisienne, or dandy horse, in 1817. This led to the invention of the world's first two-wheeled vehicle, considered the ancestor of the modern bicycle. Dreiss introduced this vehicle to the public in Mannheim in the summer of 1817 and in Paris in 1818. The rider sat with legs extended on a wooden frame supported by two wheels, and the rider propelled it by pushing their feet against the ground. What are some benefits of volcanic eruptions? Many people think that when a volcano erupts, it will cause many disasters for humans. However, besides the damages, there are also many benefits as below. A cooling effect on the Earth's surface. Volcanoes emit sulfur dioxide, SO2, and other gases during eruptions. When sulfur dioxide reaches the stratosphere, it reacts with water vapor to form sulfate aerosols. These aerosols reflect sunlight back into space, leading to a cooling effect on the Earth's surface. For example, the eruption of Mount Pinatubo in 1991 caused a notable drop in global temperatures for about 1 to 2 years. Volcanic eruptions can have a cooling effect on the Earth's climate, but this is typically a short-term impact. Abundant mineral resources. Most of the metallic minerals mined in the world, such as copper, gold, silver, lead, and zinc, are associated with magmas found deep within the roots of extinct volcanoes. Volcanoes can produce rich, fertile land. Over time, lava and ash break down to produce nutrient-rich soil, great for growing crops. That's why some people like to set up home on the slopes of a volcano. Tourism. Volcanic landscapes often attract tourists interested in their dramatic scenery and geothermal features. Volcanoes and related phenomena such as lava flows, fumaroles, and hot springs can be major attractions. Tourism can provide economic benefits to local communities, creating jobs and supporting local businesses. It's not just humans that makes use of volcanoes, birds do too. Malayo birds bury their eggs in the sand or soil near volcanoes to keep them warm. When the chicks hatch, they claw their way up to the surface. Volcanic eruptions are powerful natural events that can cause widespread and lasting damage. While they can have some beneficial effects, the immediate and long-term impacts on human life, property, and the environment are often severe. Can we predict when a volcano is going to erupt? Volcanologists use lots of different tools and instruments to help them monitor eruptions and measure their scale and impact. This includes seismometers, which record movements in the ground, special instruments that detect and measure gas, satellites which circulate the Earth and can pick up tiny millimetric movements, and even drones. If an eruption is likely to happen very soon, behavior of animals in the area can also be a clue. Animals often seem to be able to detect when an eruption is coming, and they become agitated. While predicting the exact time and nature of a volcanic eruption remains difficult, significant progress has been made in detecting the warning signs of potential eruptions. With the continued development of monitoring technologies and a better understanding of volcanic systems, the ability to predict eruptions will likely improve, enhancing public safety and disaster preparedness. For example, Mount Pinatubo, Philippines, 1991. Scientists successfully predicted the eruption of Mount Pinatubo several days in advance by monitoring increased seismic activity, gas emissions, and ground deformation. This allowed for the evacuation of thousands of people, saving many lives. Mount St. Helens, USA, 1980. The eruption was preceded by weeks of small earthquakes, ground deformation, and steam explosions, which helped scientists anticipate the major eruption, although the exact timing and scale were challenging to pinpoint. Today's video ends here. Don't hesitate to leave a comment below to let me know if you liked this video. Please share the love and give it a thumb up, as well as hit the subscribe button so you never miss an update from us. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye-bye.